Hey guys, Joe here from Big Shark Gaming, and today I want to talk to you a little bit about um, game ratings and reviews. I feel like, seeing as I just finished Horizon, and I felt it was honestly one of the better games that I've played. I'm just really torn, to be honest, about game reviews and game etc. Um, for a long time, we did game reviews here on the channel, especially on our old Tumblr, and it was something that we were like, oh, this game is good, this game is bad, but we never really shied away from playing a game just because it had low ratings. You know what I mean? Like, we have sat there and played games regardless of what we expect them to be, regardless of like how good we thought they were gonna be. And I just want to talk about how flawed our rating system is. As I'm giving this pseudo wudo fits ever since I threw in at Roost. Um, yeah. So earlier today we got the platinum for Horizon Zero Dawn, and I was like, man, this is a great game, and I just wanted to see what the rating was for it. This was a game that I got, and I didn't, bother to check the rating for it. I just wanted to play it, and then I checked today, and it got a 9.3 out of 10 on IGN or a 9 out of 10 on a GameSpot, which is pretty close to what I had rated it. Um, you know, when we were finishing up the last episode. Um, then I was like, man, I remember when IGN officially released like the ratings for the remakes of Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, and it was like 7.9, and it was like too much water, and we were just like, oh man, this is too much. And I actually didn't like the original versions of Ruby and Sapphire. I didn't. It was like my least favorite Pokemon Gen. I go crazy on that one, guys. But it got pretty good ratings. Um, and honestly, I didn't see why. And then the remakes got pretty lackluster ratings, and it was weird to me because I actually liked the remakes. I thought the remakes added just enough to be better than they were. Enough story tweaks, enough like add-ons to be better than how they were and be good enough in my opinion. I would probably give them a 7.5 out of 10, which is around what IGN gave them, but that's just because I still don't really like Gen 3's main story. And despite it being different, it didn't really change it enough for me to really get excited about it. But I remember a while ago, Jay and I were talking over this game called Pixie Cat. And we were like, man, Pixie Cat is terrible. We can't play this game. It's just awful. But we were like, man, someone out there is like, man, Pixie Cat's my favorite game. And you're going to get real upset with us for saying that, like, we didn't like Pixie Cat and how bad Pixie Cat was. And so I was curious today, and I checked the ratings for it. Fucking Pixie Cat got a 9 out of 10 on Steam and an 80% on Metacritic. What is wrong with this is that ratings are so opinionated. They're so subjective. And honestly, it's like, how do I put it? It's kind of trivial. Because someone might hate a game, and then someone else might think that game is their favorite. Like, for example, Jay loves this game, Kingsley. And it was an old PlayStation 1 game, and it's one of his favorites of all time. I got a 4.7 out of 5 on Emu Paradise. So pretty good ratings. I feel like most of the older games really did do the same and got some decent ratings. My opponent disconnected. But where does it begin? I see people be like, oh, this game got a 6 out of 10. It's not that great. It got a 5 out of 10. It's not that great. But if you think about it this way, um, 65 is passing in most American schools. 55 is a failure. And if you hit 300 in baseball, you're one of the top players. If you shoot 40% in basketball, you're a top player. But then if you complete 75% of your passes in football, American football, you're a top quarterback. And we rely so much on these percentages, and they're so different in every single thing. How could a 30% batting rate, you hit the ball 30% of the time, make you, great, make you good? Shouldn't you be aiming to hit the ball, 70% of the time? More? I just don't get the concept there. I don't get how 30% could be good in one thing and then awful in another thing. I don't understand how 60 could be bad when 60 is, better than half. What is the average? What is the average video game score? They never ever say that. Like, what is the average rating that a mediocre game will get? Most people say that's a 7.5, which is really, really weird. That was really risky, that swap there. I know he's going to go for the Draco Meteor here, so I'm going to switch him to Tapu Lele because he's going to absorb that. He's going to be Choice too, so he's going to have to switch after that. It's usually Choice Scarf, even though I like to run Quick Claw because it's silly. But yeah, like, what is the average video game score? And what depicts a good game and a bad game? I honestly don't see where that comes in and where that leaves. Because honestly, I think there's a fan for every game out there. I think that somewhere is like, man, I love this game. I want to see what the lowest video game rating ever was. What was the worst game rated? We'll do that right now. Yeah, we'll do Game Radar. This is 100 worst games of all time. Oh boy, right off the bat, I see Ginger Dead Man and Link from Philips CGI. So we got a Wailord here. I'm gonna go for the Moonblast. Almost good enough. Alright, so the number one game looks to be, it stops at ET. Oh, Big Rigs Over the Road Racing. E.T. is there, Club's Drive is 3, Superman New Adventures, Cluster's Revenge, Fugitive Hunter, Homie Rollers, Aquaman Battle for Atlantis, 9 is Link, The Pieces of Evil, 10 is Ride to Hell, Retribution. Like I said, like, there's games out there for everybody. So it's kind of hard to say that this is the worst game of all time when you know somebody liked it. I'm sure there's people who are out there, I don't know who they are, and I don't know why, that like Faces of Evil or Wand the Gamelon. I'm sure it happens, and it's scary that it happens, but it does. Yeah, I just wanted to know your opinion on this, guys. What do you think? What do you think is a good game? What do you think is a bad game? Do you think there are no bad games, and they're all good in their own way? Because I think that could be a very true statement. I think that, there's some games out there that are just dreadful. That I cannot stand to play. But people might be huge fans. I know there's games that Jay likes that I despise. I know, like Glover. I don't really like Glover, but Jay loves Glover. Jay liked Luigi's Mansion, Dark of Moon. For me, I can't even look at that game because I've seen so much of it. and it sickens me. Um, yes, I like some of the Persona games. I liked Shin Megami Tensei Digital Devil Saga. I like Digimon World 3. And not a lot of people do. I liked Final Fantasy 9 over Final Fantasy 8. In my opinion, Final Fantasy 7, one of the greatest games, quote unquote, in the world. I feel super overrated, and I feel is not that great. There's story plot holes, there's lots of things wrong with the game, and I just can't see what the appeal is in people who look like Legos. Um, and this person forfeit. He could have very easily have sent out his Ditto. He just really wanted his Ditto to be my Hydreigon. Yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up there. I want to know what your opinion is. Do you think that there's good games and bad games? Do you think that there's a game out there for everybody? Do you think that there's some bad games out there that you may not like that someone else would love? Let me know in the comment section down below because I really want to know. Also, what is your game of the year so far? Right now, I'm saying that mine was Horizon Zero Dawn. We played a lot of games already this year, but Horizon or Dragon Quest Builders, even though Dragon Quest Builders came out in October. But I have played it off screen, and it's still such a good game. I love that game. But yeah, comment down below what you think about game ratings. Do you think they're kind of trivial? Do you think they're kind of like really loose in the spectrum of what's good and what's bad? And also what your game of the year is, because I want to know. I'll see you guys next time. Stay sharky, my friends.